Faris Secondary School for Girls, and I wish you will get the most benefit today. And thanks, I'm honored to attend my workshop for today. Thanks for coming, thanks for support, and let's start. Our workshop today is about reading. It's called or entitled A Step by Step to the Reading Zone. So we are going to deal with the topic reading. Before we start, we are going to listen to the Holy Quran, and I want you to listen carefully, and we are going to have a discussion after listening to this holy verse of Quran.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم كلا إن الإنسان ليطغى أن رآه استغنى.
Mentioned and revealed from Allah to our Prophet Muhammad, which is Iqra. It is the first word that Allah revealed to our Prophet. Is the word Iqra only for our Prophet Muhammad or to us as a whole? Can you share me your ideas? Is it only for our Prophet Muhammad this order to Iqra, to read? Is it only for our Prophet Muhammad? Yes, Ms. Asma.
To us to read, to encourage us to read more, because if we read, we can understand more about our religion.
Yes. Okay. Yes, thanks very much. Do you have any other ideas? Actually, yes, it is the most important word that has been revealed for the first, as the first word in the Holy Quran to read. It's an order from Allah, not only from to our Prophet Muhammad, but to us as a whole, because while reading you are extending your mind and you are getting a lot of thoughts and you can express yourself freely and you can depend on yourself. This is very important for us and our kids at schools. Now, what are the objectives, the aims of attending our workshop? What are we going to be able to do after finishing our workshop, inshallah? By the end of our workshop, we should be able to, inshallah, identify certain reading difficulties and their solutions. Know the reading difficulties and their suggested solutions for them. Also, we are going to help our pupils to come to the reading zone through some steps. We are going to know some steps on how to come closer to the reading zone. Also, we are going to identify our pupils' reading levels. It's very important to know your students' level of reading and how to develop it and how to develop their levels. Now, after knowing our objectives and our aims of our workshop, we are going to start with this question. What do we mean by reading? Not the skills. I'm not asking about the skills of reading. Just the word reading. For any simple person, what does reading mean? What does reading mean? Reading as a script you have. What are you doing while reading? Just look at a paper with a written text and you are going to read. What you do while looking at a paper like this with a written text? Yes, Dr. Asma, Doctor?
I think reading means to identify the sounds of the letters and identify their meaning.
Excellent. Reading carries, as Dr. Asma said, carries a message. This text carries a message through the sounds, through the words, through the sentences. And this message makes you interact easily. So let's look at this and answer our question. Reading skills enables readers to turn the written text into meaning, as Dr. Asma said, to meaning and achieve the goals of independence, comprehension, and fluency. Reading skills also are specific abilities which enable a reader to language. This written form should be transferred and understood as a meaningful language. Also, to mentally interact with the message. When you read a text, when you read a sentence, when you read a word, you got a message in your mind. And this message, with this message, you are going to interact and talk freely and express yourself freely. Okay? Let's come closer. What does reading come from? As Dr. Asma said, from now. Yes. Reading comes from sounds of letters. Excellent. Okay. Reading comes from the following. Seeing language, we see the language, we see the text, we see the words, we see the sentences, the paragraphs. We see language as made up of units of sounds, as our colleague said, and these units all carry meaning. These units of the word or the sounds or the text carries a meaning. Also, seeing prints as letters symbolizing sounds, words, and units of language such as sentences, paragraphs, and quotations. Also, seeing relationships of ideas and the ability to infer and evaluate and conclude. While using this message, you get a message, you interact mentally, and you can depend on yourself and evaluate, infer, and interact. Now, have you ever heard about reading readiness? Have you heard about reading readiness? Reading readiness. Reading readiness, what does it mean? Any idea comes to your mind, express yourself, yes?
I just want to ask something to are we going to talk about how we take reading in classrooms or what does reading means at all in our life?
Maybe we are going to be sure of your opinion. Thanks for taking part. Thanks a lot. Okay, yes, Doctor?
I think reading readiness means preparing my mind to get some ideas, get some information, preparing my mind with some ideas about the text I'm going to read, with pictures, with whatever.
That's right. When can I prepare my mind for ideas, for reading? Does it have a relationship with our age?
Yes, of course. I think if the topic is appropriate for my age, will be attractive for me, interesting.
How if we are children? It should be proper for our children to read a suitable text, or can I raise their understanding and awareness?
raise their awareness. يعني مثلا مش يبقى التكست suitable for their ages.
Yes, it can be above their ages. Okay, so let's look at our video, watch our video, enjoy watching this video, and we are going to have a discussion and after watching. Happy watching.
Let me read another book. We've read this one 100 times. Nanny Gilbertine is so tired of the Boo-Boo book, she could just gag. One fine and sunny day, Baby Boo's nanny Henrietta said, "Baby Boo, today you shall go on a wonderful adventure. You will see the many, many sights of the big city." After a lovely breakfast, they walked down the lane to the corner, where they boarded a big blue bus. They were on their way to the big city. Baby Boo felt very grown up indeed, but this was his first trip away from mother and father.
Actually, this is a scene of a film. I know you have watched it. It is amazing, and it tells us about reading readiness. Reading readiness. So you are not going to read until you are older. You can read and understand the message even if you are not reading. Someone is reading for the baby and he is interacting. He wants the same specific story. Let's look at the definition. What is reading readiness? Reading readiness is a child's ability to learn to read. His ability to learn to read. Learning to read. Known as reading readiness. It begins in infancy. So we should help our kids, help our babies to love reading. Just because while they are listening to your stories, to your tales, to your fairy tales at night, you are building their imagination and love to reading. Okay? Also taking time to read to our pupils. If we move to our pupils, they have the reading readiness from infancy, from childhood, and our pupils at class, if we give them time to read, is the most important element to a child's development of reading. So we should have a time for reading at classes. In this workshop, inshallah, this was our introduction. Coming closer to our workshop, we are going to read with the reading difficulties, reading skills, reading steps, and how to reach the reading development for our students in our classes. But before we start, let me ask you this question. Can difficulties be facilitated? Can difficulties, reading difficulties, life difficulties, social difficulties, any difficulties in our life, can it be facilitated?
Yes.
Or, of course, yes.
By reading a lot.
By reading a lot, we can facilitate. By asking for help, we can facilitate difficulties.
Encouraging students to get over the problems.
Yes, encouraging our pupils to get over our problems, their
By
problems.
activities and practicing more. Practice makes perfect.
Very good. Practice makes perfect. Thanks a lot. Okay, now, can difficulties be facilitated? Let's look at this video. We are going to watch it. And before we start watching, because we are going to have a discussion after watching, if you look at this, I think it's an underground metro or a mall under the ground. There are, if you notice, two kinds of stairs. The stable stairs that we used to use, and the moving ones. If you are in this place, which stairs are you going to use for moving? Steps. Moving stairs or the stairs?
No, stairs are not. I'm not
The moving,
going to
the
the
moving.
The moving, of course.
The moving stairs. Okay, why? Because they are
I'm afraid.
easier. Because they are easier. So, if we got an idea in our mind to change your minds and make you use the stairs, the most difficult means of getting getting up, will you try to change? Of course you will. Okay. If this change is funny, attractive, and nice, you are going to change your mind, try to use the stairs. Okay, let's look at the stairs and the moving stairs and the people and how did they change the people's minds and thoughts. We are going to have a discussion.
Of course.
the people's ideas and thoughts about using the most difficult way,
Yes.
and let away the easiest way? Yes. How? How did they do that? Using the fun theory. Yes. So if we add some fun to our classes and get the students enjoy our classes, enjoy their skills, enjoy getting out, expressing themselves, and getting out their abilities from deep down. So through fun, they can interact, they can change. None is born stupid. Do you agree?
Yes.
Yes. And everyone can learn and can move up and can get higher classes while if they read and with help and support. Okay. Now we are going to read with some reading difficulties and what skills that are needed to develop these skills and overcome these skills. Let's look at this question. Questions. What are the reading difficulties that can children face? In your opinion, what kind of reading difficulties can the children face in your classes?
He doesn't know the letters.
It
يعني في مثلا children doesn't know the letters.
doesn't?
Doesn't know the letters.
They don't know the letters. The children, even students at secondary school. I have some students at secondary school classes.
This letter and so on.
Yes, they can't. Yes, they don't know the letters. Yes. I need to.
At the beginning, unfamiliar words that students may encounter as a biggest, it's a big problem.
Yes, some new vocabs, some new words are new to them. They encounter a problem and they can't solve it. Thank you very much. Yes.
I mean, a small experience yesterday in my intermediate course for the first grade and the second grade, and I made it especially for you. I asked the students to read a text in their books, okay? And after reading, I asked them a question. Did you read because you want to read and you are busy of pronouncing the words correctly, and you are reading and you are knowing exactly what does each word means? So they divided into three types. First type said that I'm going to read and I was very, very busy on being correct.
Being
Correct.
correct.
I just wanted to read quickly.
Yes.
Okay? The second one is that telling me that when I read, I think about every word and how I pronounce it and what is the meaning of each word. Okay? The third group told me that just read. Right or wrong, we are going to read. So, what is your main problem? The main problem, especially in the intermediate stage, that they are monitoring, or they are going to mix between the reading correctly and getting the right pronunciation and the meaning in their minds.
Yes.
This is the main problem.
Yes.
After, of course, the special difficulties in reading the verbs, or they didn't know the letters, or they can't read at all, and all these
Problems.
similar or familiar problems that we face in the class.
Yes, actually that's correct, because most of our students can't differentiate between the phoneme, grapheme of the word, the phoneme, the sounds of the words, and the grapheme, the shape. They mix the sounds together, they mix the letters together, and they can't read well. This is the most problem we face. Thanks a lot. Okay, let's move. Reading difficulties and suggested solutions. Difficulties in reading typically involve difficulty with one or more of the following. Some students have all the difficulties coming down. Some students only have one difficulty. So we have to, there are a lot, but we are only catching the most important and the most obvious problems. Difficulty with decoding. Decoding are teaching secondary classes, class third, second, you will encounter some of these problems in your classes. Okay. Decoding difficulties. What do you mean by decoding? What do you mean by decoding? Does it make any sense with you? What do you mean by decoding difficulties? Okay, yes.
It's the ability to transfer the letters into sounds.
Yes, it's a difficulty with transferring letters into sounds. Okay, now let's look. Thank you very much. Let's look at this. Difficulty with decoding is not acquiring the phoneme grapheme, as we said. There is a problem with acquiring the phoneme, the sound of the word, or the letters, and the grapheme, the shape. There is a difficulty between mixing the letters and the shape of the letters and their sounds. They can't make this connection between the letter, the sound, and the shape. So they mix K and C. They mix M and N, W and M, B and D. Okay, and this and that impairs, destroys the person's ability to read. If they can't make this differentiation between the phoneme, grapheme, the shape, and the sound, so their ability to read is destroyed. Do you agree? They make them confused. Very good. Okay.
Sorry for interrupting you, but I just wanted to comment on this point.
Again?
I say sorry for interrupting you, but I just wanted to comment on this point.
It's my pleasure.
I think this point, or this type of difficulty results from students getting used to read words separately. I mean, to learn first letters, this is letter A, letter B, letter. If they learn the language into a context, this difficulty is going to be much less.
Maybe. Thank you very much. Yes, it's a very good point that they don't read they read the letters separately. They don't read it in a text or a context. Okay. So our difficulty now with decoding is that our children can't make this connection between the sounds and the shape of the sounds and the shape of the letters. So they are confused and they have this difficulty. So if you as a teacher now, you are not a teacher, you are a child, maybe this kid or a child 3 years old, 5, 6, 7, maybe you are 18 years old, you are still children. 18, but they are kids actually. Okay? How would you feel if you are a decoding difficulty pupil? If you are a decoding difficulty pupil, you are now a pupil that have a difficulty at school, at reading, and you can't read well because letters are mixing. C, K, N, N, W, B, and D. You are mixing. This is a big problem inside our students. If you are this pupil, how would you feel? How would you feel if you are this pupil? Yes?
I feel awkward. I feel awkward.
Yes, actually. Frustrated, actually. Yes.
Shy and embarrassed.
Shy.
Speaking and telling my problem.
Very good. Can't express. Shy, embarrassed. How can he share his ideas? How can he express himself? Yes, Ms. Fatima.
Some children consider English as a monster.
Yes, I actually agree with you. English is a monster in our classes, to our pupils. The English teaching classes are of great difficulties and they face obstacles.
You know what is the main problem with all the students in our school? This is from my point of view. That they are learning that English is not pronounced.
It's not a language.
Yeah.
It's not a language.
They are dealing with English as just a subject at the school to pass the exam and give high marks and so on.
Language.
After that, when they are live or classes or at the end of the yearly exams, they are using their eyes and their minds are saying something completely different from the word, but they know the right meaning. So they answer the questions quickly. They know that they are good at this point and they are good at that one, but they can't read one sentence at all.
Yes, I actually agree.
They told me
I
that
totally
we are
agree.
going to read the main words that we know and look at the questions with the same words, and this is the right answer. So we are going to put a line under the sentence. So this is it.
Yes, they look at English, as Ms. Fatma said, as a monster. They can't defeat it. As Ms. Manan said, only exam, let's move it, let's move it. Yes, not a language. They don't need, they don't feel the beauty of our language. It's our role as teachers. So we have a great role in classes to change their minds and ideas. As we said, we can facilitate difficulties with encouragement. Thank you. Okay. Now we are going to watch this video. In this video, we are going to meet a couple who is intelligent. You won't notice his intelligence now, but he has a problem. His problem with reading is the decoding problem reading. He is a decoding difficulty reader. Let's look at him and his teacher. How does she interact with him? How does she feel with him? And we will have a discussion, okay? Enjoy reading. Enjoy watching.
I think if you press next to the next slide, it's going
And
to
come back.
هو الملف مش موجود غالبا.
مش موجود.
يعني ممكن عندك انت على اللاب لكن ما اتنقلش على الفلاش.
والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. معلم الدكتور جمال عبد العزيز، أستاذ ولي المواد العام، شرفنا بكم النهارده ونرحب بكم في رحاب الأزهر الشريف، وأنتم في بيتكم مش هينفع نرحب بكم طبعا، ولكن في البداية بقول دايما إن الفيوم أو مواجهي العموم في الفيوم والأوائل لهم صبر في حاجات كتير. يمكن المحافظات المشاد بيها في القطاع في وضع الامتحانات في التحضير في نظام الدراسة محافظة الفيوم. ده بيرجع سببه فيه وعي كامل لدى الموجهين العموم والسادة الموجهين والسادة المدرسين. مثل هذه الأعمال، ودي ورشة عمل، يمكن قليل أوي من المحافظات يمكن بيفكر فيها علشان الأفكار تبقى متبادلة، المعلومة متكاملة، النظام يبقى سائد في كل المعاهد في المراحل التعليمية، وده طبعا بيبقى له أثر بالغ عند الطالب والمدرس. فمرحبا بكم في هذا المكان الطيب الطاهر. بنشكر السادة القائمين على هذه الورشة، معالي الأستاذة والأستاذ وليد، إن هم بيفكروا هذا الفكر العالي علشان يبقى فيه تبادل أفكار. حبيت أرحب بكم. وطبعا حاجة تانية، مش عارف انت قلت للدكتور جمال ولا لا، ان هو ثقه فضيله الامام، مش هنقول ثقته فيها لان الثقه موجوده من زمان. يمكن احنا بنشكر فضيله الامام على هذه الثقه الدائمه في معالي الدكتور جمال. يمكن القرار سابق الاوان او مش عارف السبب، حب فيه مش عارف، عملوا زياده مش عارف، اللي حصل مش عارف برضه. المفروض التجديد كان هيبقى في شهر 6، جه في شهر 3. يعني كان السنه عند الدكتور جمال سنه و3 شهور. يمكن دي حاجه ولا حاجات. نعم.
ربنا يقويك يا دكتور جمال، ربنا يقويك علينا. ده تكليف ربنا يقويك علينا.
في النهايه شايف ان المسؤولين ناس من الناس المحترمين جدا، اللي شايفين شغلهم، اللي مهتمين بالماده العلميه. في جوانب كتير لقينا المسؤولين شغال، فمن الناس المميزه في المنطقه. وطبعا الكلام ده بقوله بقى من اعلى الفئه الموجوده مدرسي اللغه الانجليزيه، اللي هم يعني دخلاء الازهر، صح ولا لا؟ بس برضه مش دخلاء، لا، على فكره هم اصلا لا، لان احنا محتاجين لده دلوقتي. يمكن لنا سفراء في كل دول العالم، بنحتاج اللغه، دلوقتي حتى الطالب الازهري